Okay, so Elizabeth, do you remember all the Metta Sutra?
I should remember it, Tai.
Can you?
If you have it on the screen, I'll just read it off of the screen.
Okay. How about this? Let us take turn to read one paragraph, and after that we can discuss. You go ahead, Elizabeth. You can read the first paragraph then.
He who is skilled in doing good and who wishes to attain that state of calm should act thus. He should be able, upright, perfectly upright, obedient, gentle, and humble.
Okay, can you explain?
So I guess I'll just go line by line. He who is skilled in doing good and who wishes to attain that state of calm should act thus. It's about us as people trying to attain nirvana, which is that state of calm and that state of peace, in order to do better towards others and to ourselves, and to also just be a better person, be compassionate, but to choose our actions and words wisely when we're interacting with others and towards ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So he should be able, upright, perfectly upright, obedient, gentle, and humble. I think that's pretty self-explanatory when you're talking to other people, treating people with kindness, and also towards ourselves, the way our attitude and the way that we present ourselves to the world, we should be compassionate, gentle, humble, don't boast about yourself, and to always try to learn.
Hmm. Okay. Tân Thiên, can you explain what's mean by Nirvana or Nibbana? What's mean then?
Nibbana or Nirvana. Um, it's only applies to the Buddha, Kayaka Buddha, or the the Arhat,
Hmm.
the one that wish to enter to finish the life to enter nirvana for the last time. That means that person will pass away and will no longer come back to be born as a human again.
Hmm. You know the notion of Nirvana?
Yeah, I know the notion.
What's mean then? Yes.
The states.
Yeah, so I can take it.
So nirvana would be a state of contentment, just to be completely content or at ease in your situation. Would that be correct?
Yeah. Thank you. All right. But William, what do you think about Nirvana? Can we, as lay people, common people here in this modern age, to attain that state of mind? What do you think?
I do believe it's possible. Is it common, or have I met a single person who has achieved nirvana? It's definitely not common, but and I don't know that I've met anyone who's achieved nirvana, but I still believe it's possible. But then again, like if someone had achieved nirvana, they wouldn't talk about it, right? They wouldn't go around saying I have achieved nirvana.
Mm-hmm. Mm. You know what's mean by Nirvana?
Maybe I.
No. Mm. You got the idea, Nirvana?
Isn't that coming to like peace with the suffering of birth, old age, and death, understanding that it exists and being at peace with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Khóa, you understand what mean by Nirvana again?
Yeah, it's like the state where you have your own control over your mind, and you can understand your sufferings and what brings you sufferings, and it's just like the state where of your happiness where um you can control your mind to not think about your sufferings, and um yeah, state of like peace.
You understand that?
To me, it's like the removal of suffering, that you've found a way around dealing with the everyday pains and cravings and desires. You've attained a freedom of mind.
Okay, thank you. So remember, we talk a lot about the difference between pain and suffering, right? The need and the craving. Remember that, right? If we go beyond that, so if we stay in the awareness side, that we of course experience all kind of pain, but we don't let sufferings invade our mind. We don't let craving control our mind. It's kind of nirvana there. It's not the place, but the state of mind where we remain calm no matter what things happen. Of course, as common people, it's peer for us to attain to that state of mind until we have some kind of practice meditation, so we can remain in that kind of calmness and peacefulness. So whether people praise us or put down us, we still remain calm. Not easy, right? But attainable, achievable, if we can remain to that state of mind. Right, Bin, right? So, okay, and here why, in this sense, and why Buddha said that he should be able upright, perfectly upright, obedience, gentle and humble. This kind of morality, right? Why is that? What is required us to have this kind of behavior instead of having what we call laying back, right? At ease with ourselves. Why is that? Why is, Elizabeth, why do we have this kind of behavior in order to achieve that state of mind? Why is that?
I think maybe it just helps becoming a living example of this kind of practice so that other people can view you and see, oh, this person is handling the situation in a very calm manner. And it could be about anything, really. If we're talking about humbleness, nobody would like to be around somebody who's constantly boasting about their achievements or constantly wanting to be praised by others. But you become a little bit more noticeable if you continue to be humble and just live through example for others. So if you're laid back and you're not really caring about the way you present yourself, then it's only going to stray you away from finding that true path of achieving enlightenment and achieving nirvana. Because if you're willing to achieve nirvana, you need to care a little bit more and you need to put in that work and effort. So
Okay. What do you think, William?
Yeah, be about, needing to be upright, perfectly upright. It makes sense because it's like a degree of inner and outward integrity. So honesty within ourselves, but honesty within with other people as well. Not being, because if we are involved in some sort of deception or trying to get away with something, I mean, those are all going to be signs that we're still actively engaged in pursuing our desires. And if we're, the obedient part's interesting to me, and I have a question. The gentle and humble make total sense to me, because if we're not if we're not looking to get something from this, like this world, we're not looking to accumulate something or get certain pleasurable experiences, then we'll never put ourselves in a position where we're like in opposition to someone else, where so that we'd have to be rough. You know, someone who's not trying to achieve desires can always remain gentle because they have no reason to try to, you know, force someone roughly towards some direction, because they're, you know, they're accepting. And the humility too, if we have some idea of ourself and we aggrandize ourself, then we clearly are still engaged in the illusion, because the attainment of nirvana, my understanding is it involves a dissolution of the belief in a permanent, you know, self. And the obedience makes sense to me in one way, but my question like comes around we'd obviously need to be be obedient to certain things. Like if someone is requesting something of us that doesn't cause anyone else harm, but it's for goodness, then, you know, if we're humble and we're gentle, then we should, if we can, we should fulfill that request and be helpful to people, so that to help bring about their happiness. That way you're not in the way of anyone's happiness. We're not causing other suffering and then becoming entangled in some sort of conflict.
If you're not humble, you're not gentle, the focus is on yourself and the elimination of the ego, the I, removes that desire to attain things that distract you.
Anything to say?
I have nothing to add.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the obedience part either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, remember we study about the Eightfold Paths, the right views, right understanding. That's the first one. Let me see here. How can I show you? Let me see here. Let me show you this. And because you come late, so we cover all kind of information. Let me open this one here, so that you can know why Buddhists mentioned about what do you call it? Egolessness. This means not much attachment to the ego. So Elizabeth, can you see, right? This is the Foundable Truth, the basic one. The nature of suffering, the suffering origin that come from desiring, the possibility of good, the cessation of suffering, and prescription, the way leading to that. And let me move down here. There's a lot of things we have covered before. So let's see here. Let me move down quick. So here's the idea. The Eightfold Paths, what we call here, right view, right intention, the wisdom here, and the ethics, the speech, the action, the livelihood, the samadhi is right effort, like mindfulness concentration. Yeah. And let me show you here. Okay, this is one. And the first one, we call right views. Right view here, we need to recognize anicca. This means everything's impermanent. That's reality. Nothing's lasts forever. And second one is suffering again. If we allow ourselves to be suffer, right, we will get the suffering. Otherwise, we will not be suffering anymore. Like we talk about pain and suffering.
Yeah, you would be on due suffering.
Yeah, so as
Self-created.
much we have the choice whether to jump into that type of situation, the suffering situation, or remain here. Recognize this situation and not to get entangled with that type of what you call suffering. Right? When I fell down, yeah, I just stand up. That's okay. That's all. I recognize the pain. I experienced the pain. But if I try to grab on, that's suffering there. So I have a choice. The last one, anatta, not self, not soul. This pure hard concept, especially people in the West. But here, the Buddha provide us the explanation in reality. Our body won't be last forever. We're here for few more decades, and that's all. Our mind, I change in moment by moment. So if we say, "Oh, I am here," or this person with this name, yes, as a real person, that's what we call illusion. That's untrue. And our environment too, our conditioned environment, this nothing nothing is permanent. So there's no real self. Of course, when we study about, let's say, Mahayana tradition, we will talk about Buddha nature, the rules of nature, the awareness nature. In Buddhist view, that's our nature, our pure nature. Uh, in opposites with things what we deal with, we attach to. So that's why, go back to your question, right? Obedience here means that if someone attend to that state of mind, they would not, like you say, show up any ego, any attachment to the ego, because their mind is so peaceful. They don't, let's say, in a simple term, they don't try to fight. They don't try to argue or whichever like us. Right? It's because they might go beyond duality, good, bad, praising, and slandering. Understand that they remain calm. So, and in the top of that, because there is no attachment to the ego, they just remain in that state of mind, that awareness state of mind, that calmness state of mind. It
So
makes sense?
the obedience is to the values of that.
Yes.
To those values, not
That,
obedience in and
no,
of itself.
no, not in our home. Like the children need to obedience, need to be obedience with the parents. That's different home. In that kind of awareness, that kind of principle.
Obedience to the principle.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, just to clarify on that, I think it's when it says obedience in here, I think it's more of a translation thing because this is a sutta, which is like hundreds of years old. So when it's translated to obedience here,
yeah, you're right. There's a Western.
Yeah, it's different implications.
Yeah.
But you're totally right. That I believe.
Yeah, sometimes we encounter problem with translation too. In the past, it may be understandable, but now in modern age, it may not. So it depends upon the context of that situation. You understand now?
I understand. Yes.
Okay. So that's why if you understand the point of truth in A4 parts, it's the foundation for us to discuss about all the sutra much easy. Otherwise, it's the confusion. All right, let's go back again. Okay, so again, for the one who have calmness and peacefulness, those behavior come naturally. You understand that? Because their mind calm, their mind is so peaceful, so that behavior come naturally. They don't need to restrain themselves. Oh, I have to sit straight and so forth. No, because the mind is so calm, so peaceful. Mm. Especially like when you do meditation, right? Your mind is so peaceful, and you have that proper behavior. But if somehow someone they have fluctuation in their mind, yeah, they may lay that back, and they have all kind of things that act out orally, or they may show to other people to recognize that they are not peaceful. You understand what I'm talking about, right? So this depends on the state of mind. If you have a lot of affliction, let's say if you have like, anger, for example, you cannot hide from people, right? It's not easy to hide when we have that kind of anger, that kind of jealousy. Eventually, people could recognize, could feel that negative energy. But when someone is so peaceful, they have that kind of proper behavior. But if someone has all kind of mental afflictions, anger, anxiety, stress, you could feel that even they may not say it out loud. You could feel that energy through their facial expression, through their body expression. So yes.
Could I make a comment about this, maybe?
Who?
A comment about this?
Yeah. Mm.
It looks like, if I understand it correctly, it is basically whoever wants to attain nirvana, he should be able, upright, perfectly upright, gentle, humble, and obedient. It's like if you are angry all the time and your mind's like, up on this level, if you want to get to nirvana, you have to stay close to that calmness. And if not, it looks like you won't get to nirvana, or you won't attain nirvana, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm. You work both ways. Yeah, work both ways. Yeah, when you have that kind of peacefulness and calmness, your behavior, demeanor is come naturally. Mm. Yes.
Is it something that you have to be intentional about? Do you have to be intentional about being calm?
No. When your mind is calm, it will come naturally. You don't need to force yourself to become calm. No, it's not easy. Right? When you so, let's say, when you're so angry with other people, you could not pretend to become a calm. Eventually, you will recognize that, right? Um, Even you don't speak out, but through your verbal expression, through your facial expression, the body expression, they could recognize us. But if you calm down, people recognize that energy in a natural way. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So next one, Hua, can you read the next paragraph, please?
Contented, easily looked after, not a burden to others, with few duties, simple in livelihood, controlled in senses, discreet, not impudent, not greedily attached to families.
What's about?
All right, well, being contented and easily looked after, like not being like don't bring suffering to others, like keep an open mind, and don't distract others from doing what they need to do, and like stuff like that, and live with few duties, simple in livelihood. Like just, I think that's like saying like do what you need to do, like focus on your future and how you're gonna become a person, how you're gonna grow to become a person in the future, and plan for your future, and controlled in senses, discreet, not impudent, is I think like have control over your physical body and over your mind, and knowing what's wrong and right, and what's right to do, and that you should do that, and not greedily attached to families is not like don't be too attached to like your family, where you wouldn't be able to live without them if they weren't there for you like anymore in the future.
So again, for the translator, they translate this kind of sutras or passages according to the conservative views. So don't be surprised. It's not easy to recognize or to understand why this passage say that not really attached to families, right? It's confusion, right?
What does that mean?
William, what do you think? What does it mean?
I think one expression of being greedily attached to a family could be someone who like invested a lot of importance and worth and value in having a whole lot of children, like just wanted more and more children, or was always putting their family way above other people, where they would maybe not care about other people near as much as their families, being unwilling to be away from them for any periods of time. Those are the sort of things that come to mind for me.
How about you, Elizabeth? What do you understand about this?
I think when they're talking about being attached to families, I immediately think of really protective family, like really protective parents, protective siblings, and tying yourself to another person and another being, and how that could really hinder that other person from being able to grow and become independent themselves, because I think it's not a burden to others. You're putting your burden onto another person by becoming attached to them in that kind of way.
Understand? What do you think?
And that's what I think when you talk about not greedy attachment. I think of like the devouring mother archetype, or the controlling father archetype. People that really invest too much, or expect too much, where you're basically holding them back and not allowing them to come into their own, because you have such an attachment to them that almost you put yourself into your children, and that you don't want them to come to full maturity and grow to be their own thing, because in a way you're losing a bit of yourself in that. Is that what it means?
When you're really attached to family members, it's almost like you're craving control. You're craving the desire for them to succumb to your wants and desires. So you're taking them off the path. At the same time, you're wanting material notions, maybe even behaviors. So in a way that, and when you don't get that, that would cause you suffering, because you just keep wanting them to comply and they don't, and you become obsessed with it.
You understand that? Let me give you one example. A few years ago, there's a man. He's his man now. So when he was in high school, he got full scholarship to a medical school. But somehow when he went to that school, in his first semester, he almost failed everything. And later on, he came back to his parents and admit that medical school is not suitable for him. One reason why he want to go, he registered or enrolled into that program because of his parents' wish. His parents want him to become a doctor. And of course, later on, his parents came to me and we discussed, and eventually we agreed that to let him to choose his own career, his own major. And later on, he switched to education. Now he's a math teacher. You understand now? So somehow, it's not the same that, oh, don't attach to your family members, so you don't need to take care of them. No, that's not the case. It's like the pain and the suffering. What do you say? When we have children, when we have spouse, when we have relative, whoever, when a teacher, we have to be responsible for our jobs. We have to fulfill our responsibilities as the mothers, as the fathers, as the teachers, and so forth. But the important is that not to attach them. Because whenever we attach, that's where suffering comes from. That's why the parents recognize, yeah, because they really want him to become doctor. That's what has brought the suffering for him to almost fail that semester. So later on, they gave him the choice to choose his own major. Really happy. So that's the sense. Understand me? Right? So yeah, a lot of people, especially when they read this sense and they meet, oh, I said, oh, no, you don't need to care for your family members. It's quite opposite. You need to care. You need to uh, be responsible for whoever that you care for, but like the pain and the suffering. You put all your effort to fulfill your responsibility, but not just let them to do things that according to their wish. That's the meaning. It's understandable, Thân Thiện.
Yes, Thầy.
Okay, yeah. It's understand. Understandable now. Oh, go ahead, please, Thân Thiện. Number 3, please.
Yes, Malta. But he should not commit any slight wrong, so that other wise men might find fault in him. May all beings be happy and safe. May their hearts be wholesome. So what does it mean that so whatever the precept that he's holding, that he should keep them purely, and he should not commit any precept. If he does, the other people, the other wise men might find fault in him.
Okay. So what is meant by may all beings be happy and safe? May their hearts be wholesome. Why? Well, this person have this type of wish. What is that?
So what this means that we wish other people to be happy and safe, and we want to bring benefit to them, and I think we should show them the way to be so we show them the way to be happy and safe.
You understand why? You understand? What is that?
People are finding fault with you and it's legitimate, and that of course once again distracts you. You're being pulled back into that sense of I or the ego to defend yourself. And instead, if you're faulting other people, I guess that means that you are doing them some kind of disservice, whether you're harming them somehow or taking something from them.
So how I'm reading this is, if you want to attain the state of nirvana, you should be mindful of how you treat others, because if you treat them bad, negatively, then you'll create an impact that's going to cause a chain reaction in your so may all beings be happy and safe, and their hearts be wholesome. I see that as a positive encouragement, positive thinking to encourage that good karma within yourself.
William, would you like to say anything about this passage?
It it seems that this that the second part of that passage about all beings being happy and safe, it touches on, it's like the same as the idea of bodhicitta, and I think the way I understand it is that it's an essential, it's like a seed or an essential aspect of, it's the core of the practice. It's the motivation for everything. So compassion for beings, which is what those sentences really, embody, is at the heart of the precepts. It's at the heart of why the Buddha left home and sought an answer to the problems of suffering, not just for himself, but for everybody. It's part of, right understanding and having the right intention to practice. So I think it's very appropriate that it be placed so early in the Metta Sutta, since it's about compassion.
William, Elizabeth, what do you think?
I think for the second part, where it's talking about may all beings be happy and safe, may their hearts be wholesome, it maybe ties back around to our intention when we're interacting with others, and how we interact with ourselves is to have that right mindset from the beginning, where we should seek out happiness, we should seek out safety, and keeping our loved ones and anyone else around us with good intentions, and hoping and wishing that they could be the best people that they can be. And that will need to take work and need to take dedication, and to be mindful of our actions as well. So I think it's just based on our intention as a whole, which will then cause, again, like a chain reaction for others to be mindful of themselves as well and wish the same for others too.
Why you understand that?
Yeah, well, the may all beings be happy and safe. It's well, in my, what I think is, like, if everyone's happy and like not a lot of like suffering will be brought, like, because a lot of people can bring sufferings to other people with their own thoughts, and if everyone has like are on the same page and they understand each other, then there won't be a lot of suffering in this world, and everyone will be safe and calm, and yeah.
Okay, again, the first two sentences, he should not commit any slight wrong, so that other wise men may find fault in him. So this is in accord with the first one. You should be able, upright, perfectly upright. So his demeanor is proper. When when we are mindful, when we have that kind of calmness and mindfulness, so we would do things in the proper way. We would not make much mistake. when we do things in hurry, right? When we have a lot of thought, when we have a lot of afflictions, when we have a lot of emotional fluctuation in our mind, right? It's easy for us to make mistake. Like we say something that may be offended to other people, right? But when we remain calm and when we remain mindful, we recognize things that we are talking, that we are doing. So that show the demeanor or behavior of the people who have that type of calmness. And the next two senses, may all beings be happy and safe, may their hearts be wholesome. Again, you know, what is we call the like attach, the like. You understand that? So if we have, if our mind are more peaceful, we would like to hang around with someone that's more peaceful. We would not like to hang around with those violent people. You understand that? So that's why I like, attract the I like. That's why when that person have that calmness, again, he would wish people to have that kind of calmness too, that kind of happiness, that kind of safety too. And he wished that other people would have that type of wholesome in their mind too. But on the other hand, if someone is so violent, there's no way for them to wish all people to be peaceful, right? And that's why when we have that kind of peacefulness and calmness, you know, we would spread out that kind of calmness energy around ourselves and others. And of course, we would wish everyone has a similar or the same energy, the same state of mind like us. Let's say, in the other hand, let's say if somehow we have argument with someone else. Let's say if I have argument with this gentleman and want to pull you guys into my team to fight you, and vice versa, right? Because I have the fighting thought. I want to fight. I want to argue. But if I remain calm, I don't need to do that. I wish everyone to have the peace. It makes sense now. That's why. That's why when we have that kind of calmness and peacefulness, compassion come forward naturally. We don't need to force ourselves. We don't need to mind ourselves. Oh, you have to be compassionate. You have to be kindness. You have to be kind. Sorry. You understand that? Mm-hmm. So when you have that kind of calmness, your demeanor, the proper demeanor is come naturally. You need to tie yourself. Oh, I have to do this. I have to sit upright and so forth. No. If you do that, that means your mind is not calm yet. Make sense now? That's why later on we can see why this passage is so important. Oh, I forgot to mention about the reason why the Buddha taught this sutra. William, you know the reason why the Buddha taught this sutra? Oh, sorry, turn on the mic, please.
Wasn't there there was a town that was having a lot of their town was having a lot of problems, like it was plagued by some sort of like really dark influence?
Not really, yeah. Anyone else? Elizabeth, you know?
No, I do not know Thai.
Okay. Thân Thiên, you know that?
So why did the Buddha talk about this sutra?
You know why? The reason why the Buddha spoke this sutra?
I think one reason is that so when you have problems with other people and our mind is not calm, and we practice loving kindness to other people, and I think it will calm our mind.
Okay, actually here. So, there were a group of monks who went to forest, to do meditations. Actually, it's two stories related to this sutra. So they went to the forest to do meditation, and somehow one monk who was bitten by a snake, and of course later he passed away. So when the other monk in the group went back to see the Buddha to report about the problems, so the Buddha say, "Well, if you guys went there and decide this teaching beforehand, you would not encounter this kind of problems." That's one story. Another story is that, in a similar ways, that a group of monks went to forest to do meditation, and at night, all kind of we could say that ghosts appear. And they bother. They made all kind of strange sounds, weird sound to disturb the practice of the monks who try to do meditations. So they could not handle that. So they went back to report to the Buddha the problems. The Buddha said, "Well, if that's the case, go back there. Decide the teaching, methods, teaching, compassion teaching. They would not bother you anymore." And they did. So that's the two versions of the stories why the Buddha spoke this sutra. The sutra.
Is
Yeah.
the Metta Sutra separate from the Dhammapada?
Dhammapada is different. There's this whole series of teaching.
Okay.
It's many thousands of sutta
Uh-huh.
that we can learn. It's not one Bible, not one book.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the second story may be more reasonable, right? Yeah. Uh-huh. Wow. It's not easy to stay in the forest and say this type of sutra, so that all the wild animals like snake and so forth run away from us. But anyway, so that's the background of this sutra. So I think the second one, right, second version would be more reasonable. So again, that's why the Buddha provides this kind of teaching, so that the Buddhist monk, whether it's to dispel those kind of illusion, those kind of ghosts that try to disturb their practice, or try to create the peaceful environment, so that the wild animals could not harm them. Again, it needs a lot of power. I mean that the power of the mind. What do you think, William? Which version do you think is more feasible?
Well, the one that's easiest to believe is the snake one.
Oh, really?
Well, because it doesn't involve ghosts, you know? If I had to choose one, I would think the snake one, because if someone is thinking about being compassionate to all living beings, they may be walking very gently and looking carefully where they're walking. And they're more likely to not step on a snake or step near one, because they're thinking about not hurting anything, and so they see where they're going.
Let's say what happened if somehow you see a snake inside your house. What do you do then? Can you spare that compassion towards that snake?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there'd be no need to kill the snake. It just shouldn't be inside the house. So, I mean, I've never caught a snake myself. I think I could probably figure it out in a safe way, but if it was a really poisonous one, I'd probably just try to call someone in who could safely catch it.
You try catch them.
I actually had a snake in my house.
Oh really? Okay. How did you deal with that?
I got a bucket and pushed it in there. I live in the woods, so it's all kinds of creatures.
So how about Elizabeth? You seen the snake? At our
Yes,
temple, right?
yeah, at your temple, Tai, in the mountains.
It's in cordon. They stick into the trailer, and they run around, try to catch that snake and release them to the other areas. So it's fear somehow in the West, especially when you see this kind of poisonous animal, especially snake, to come to your house. What's the first direction?
I'm running out the door.
That's all.
I'm out here.
But somehow, it, of course, this human tendency, right? We try to protect our life. In by doing that way, we try to stop that snake by killing it, right? Most of the time, right? It's not easy. What do you think? It's not easy to catch and release them.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
probably
think?
wouldn't kill the snake.
You would not?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Try to safely remove it.
It's not easy.
It's not easy,
You
no.
be nervous.
A good analogy, like if you went and you seen a snake in your child's crib or something like that, it was supposed to attack you, something that you love, or putting something else in threat that couldn't protect itself. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Like clear and present danger.
What is that?
Like clear and present danger. Like how do you respond to that?
Yeah, the fight or flight instinct isn't going to kick in unless
Yeah.
there's some innate danger or imminent danger. If it's just a snake in a house or something, that's not.
So, Khoa, what's your reaction when if you see a snake crawling around your house? What's your first reaction?
Well, I definitely wouldn't be able to kill it. Even like I wouldn't kill it, definitely, and I wouldn't really even try to get close to it. But I would tell someone about it, because even I wouldn't want to catch it, because I don't really like snakes at all.
You don't dare to catch it?
I would probably get someone else to do it, because I don't know, I just don't like snakes.
Anyway, so let's go back again. So that's just the whole background of this story, this sutra. Whether it's related to the snake or to invisible beings or whatever way. So the Buddha provided this kind of teaching so that the monks could develop this kind of calmness and peacefulness to deal with things. And again, let's say in our life, for example, if we have some kind of argument with each other, but let's say if one party try to stop that argument, right? Eventually, that kind of argument will be diminished, right? Of course, other party may try to overpower us, but still, at least if one party try to withdraw from that kind of argument, eventually that kind of argument will be lesser. So when we see this kind of poisonous animals, like snake or whichever, so if we have the kind of compassionate thought, at least we would not harm them. And they're scared too. The animal, they're scared. They're scared to death. They want to protect their life too. So if we step back, and I think, of course, depend upon what type of snakes that you encounter with. But most of the time, they try to protect their lives. They try to run away. Sometimes some of them they may be more aggressive, but still. Somehow in this type of sutra, the Buddha said that if we spread that type of compassion, whoever surrounding us, whether we have argument with someone else or whether we see those type of snake and so forth, eventually the situation will be calmer, and we can find ways how to solve, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We don't have too much time. I just make a small comment. But to me, both the stories, they make sense to me. And this is a little abstract in my thinking, but they make sense to me in this way. So, but I'll just explain the one of the snake. To me, in my view, the snake in Buddhism has represented ill will. And when it represents ill will, when the monk went to the forest, let's say use the forest as reality of just here, If the snake represents ill will and the monk gets bitten by the snake, that means that's his karma in a sense. So basically what I'm trying to say is that if the monk recited the sutra or he has this calm demeanor about himself, then he won't have ill will come back to him in a sense to where he dies. And another thing is that ill will is one of the 3 poisons. So that's, in my view, that's why the monk kind of, expired.
Want to say anything? William, want to say anything? That's all.
Okay.
Elizabeth, what do you think?
I don't really have any thoughts.
Okay, anyway, so again, so that's the background of this sutra that the Buddha encouraged us to develop that kind of calmness and peacefulness. When we have that kind of calmness and peacefulness, eventually wisdom come forward. We could be mindful of things and we could recognize things as the way they are, and we would not have much turbulence in our mind. And that's why we still also wish that other beings to have that kind of peaceful mind, that kind of self, and that kind of happiness too. And again, before we end, in Buddhist view, when we talk about all beings, not only human beings, but also animal beings, as well as invisible beings. You have a pet at home?
I don't know.
Anyone, you have pet at home? No. William, you have that? How many? Oh, we can turn on the mic, please.
Oh, you said, do we have pets at home?
No, pet, dog or cat. You have that?
Yeah, we have 2 dogs. They're little. They're like 4 pounds.
That's cute, huh?
They're
So
very cute.
they can recognize your direction, right? Whether it's in the angry way or in the calm way, right?
Yes.
They pick up that frequency quickly, right? Well, easily, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that's even the animals. They could have that type of awareness. Not talking about human. Okay. So, thank you. So since time is up, let us conclude here today. So next week we can start it. Again. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, most.
Okay, I